I've been charged with looking under rocks to find $1 million a year to operate Stoll Road.
$1 million. You're going to have to pay me $1 million.
We will not give up.
Can I ask a question, Carolyn?
Please.
Tom, I'm just curious. I've been charged with looking under rocks to find $1 million a year to operate Stoll Road. And I know that we're looking at a hotel purchase that's going to cost a significant amount of money too. I'm just wondering what's on your radar as we spend money that we have on other things to be able to operate these projects that we've been working on together.
What's on my radar is we need to turn over a lot of rocks, because one of the things that is going to really impact our system is, so for the past 18 months, we've had ESGCV money, Emergency Solutions Grant COVID money, which brought in close to $3.8 million that we use to supplement our homeless crisis response system. And so that really funded Interfaith Works to move from an overnight to a 24/7 operations. They've indicated they're not willing to go back to just overnight, especially with Unity Commons. It has supported Family Support Center, be able to go from volunteers to kind of staffing, increase hotels. It's really increased our funding for outreach. That money will be, for the most part, done some point this summer, depending on the program. That money is coming to an end. And that will be a new gap kind of in our system that we will need to fund or try to figure out. We are hopeful that we'll be receiving some 1277 funds. I think that will be fairly modest kind of in this first year. Some of that will be dedicated to rent assistance. Some of it has already gone to rapid rehousing and hoteling programs. So I think the flexible money under 1277 will be fairly limited this year. Hopefully beginning in 2023, that will be kind of more robust with more flexibility. But still, I think there's going to be a lot of demands on that money. So I think as we look at and start discussions around the countywide home fund and whether a portion of that can be used for services, and what ARPA is paying for, especially as you mentioned, kind of 2 possible new projects and how those operating costs. I think one of the things we're also, as we think about those projects, will be really important is positioning those projects to be competitive for state funding under whether rapid acquisition dollars from the state or also the right-of-way funding that's available in the state that can pay for operations for programs that are moving people off of right-of-ways into kind of shelter or more permanent housing options. And so it will be important for us as we think about those projects to make sure they are well positioned to be competitive to access those funds, because we will need those funds to be able to support those types of projects.
Okay, that's really helpful. And then just sort of as a follow-up, do you put any extension of the scattered site program in that same bucket, or is there another plan for that?
The scattered site program, I think, as we kind of talked about a couple meetings ago, is kind of on the table for this kind of body to kind of figure out. Kind of right now, we do not have additional funding to continue scattered site. That funding, as kind of Michael indicated, that contract is expiring July 1st. We might be able to kind of push funding out for a couple more weeks, but essentially that project is coming to an end. The 2163 fund balance, as document recording fee collections have decreased in the last several months and are projected to decrease probably even further as interest rates increase. There is not capacity in kind of our fund balance to kind of to add that, to fund that kind of further. So I think, yes, the future of the scattered site is very much kind of up for discussion and up for kind of decision making on if and how that moves forward.
Yeah, I think we have some big hills in front of us, but some new money. So I think hopefully we can get to those soon. Is the is the fund balance in all of the funds well known? Is that something that we've scrubbed recently?
Um, it's constantly a changing target because we kind of fund. We made funding decisions last year to fund projects kind of this year, so we're a little bit behind, right? And so the funds we're collecting currently are paying for our current contracts. So we collected more last year than we awarded in contracts, and this year we're probably have more in contracts than we're actually going to collect. So it's always a little bit of a tough to kind of really pin down exactly where the fund balance is, because we've spent it before we collect it.
Okay.
But yeah, so we can look at those numbers and provide an update to this group kind of in the coming months of kind of where we look like we're at with our fund balances.
Thank you, Tom. And I appreciate you letting me grill you, but I think it's just important that we understand, that $2 or $3 million in operating funds for, the things just that we've already talked about. And that's without going into anything new or different. So that, if by my calculation, that's maybe more than half of the home fund if we had nothing else. And I think there are other opportunities coming from the state, but we still have a lot of work to do. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching.